Just 1% of farms control 70% of global farmland. Study finds shocking state of land inequality.
Here's a summary of the article.
Less than p greater than less than span style equals background color initial greater than that call from 350.org. U.S. Communications Director Thanu Yekupatiaj for Indigenous less than a href equals https://landback.org/ target equals blank greater than hashtag landback less than a greater than came just ahead of Thanksgiving in the U.S. and as the coronavirus pandemic continues to devastate communities across the country, with more than 12.7 million COVID-19 cases and over 261,000 deaths nationwide as of Wednesday afternoon, less than p greater than as we embark on a just recovery from the compound crises of climate disasters, racist police brutality, economic injustice, and COVID-19, we are in a pivotal moment of reckoning that requires us to ground in the history of the United States as a country built on stolen indigenous land by stolen black and African labor. Yekupatiaj said, less than p greater than less than p greater than fossil fuel executives and racist climate criminals continue to assault treaty rights and indigenous sovereignty, attempting to ram toxic and unnecessary pipelines like Keystone XL, Dakota Access, and Line 3 through sacred indigenous land and waters, while perpetuating threats and violence against indigenous WOMXN, girls, and Two-Spirit people, said Yekupatiaj. Our leap toward a just recovery must start with honoring treaties with sovereign indigenous nations and returning land back to native peoples. The time is now for meaningful care and repair. Less than p greater than less than p greater than for months. 350.org has spearheaded global calls for a just recovery from the pandemic. Less than a href equals https://www.commondreams.org/news/2020/04/30/a-day-500-visionary-recovery-covid-19 target equals blank greater than demanding less than a greater than that policymakers prioritize human health, provide economic relief directly to the people, help workers and communities rather than corporate executives, work to create resilience for future crises, and build solidarity across borders. Less than p greater than less than p greater than. Yekupatiaj's comments centering indigenous communities in relation to a just recovery come as Biden is facing calls from Native Americans and climate campaigners to consider appointing Representative Deb Haaland, a member of Pueblo of Laguna, as his Interior Secretary. Less than p greater than less than p greater than as the first Native American to hold this position, Representative Deb Haaland would usher in a new era of indigenous authority over stolen land. They added, it means a lot to a group of people who have been here since time immemorial to know that they're truly being represented. I think it would really change the way people see our federal government. Less than p greater than less than p greater than being able to listen. Haaland added, being able to move issues forward, bringing people to the table. I think that would make a huge difference. Less than p greater than less than p greater than. From Arizona to Wisconsin, reporters have highlighted in the messy aftermath of Election Day that Native voters were key contributors to Biden's victory over President Donald Trump, who has yet to formally concede even though the transition process is already underway.
This post received a score of 9,100, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
And who are the 1% that control the 70% of the farmland? Big Farmer's uncle, Big Farmer.
In Australia it's Big Pharma and Big Pharma.
That must be confusing at the big family reunions.
Not shocking, nearly every mature market is like this.
Lol, Pareto's principle at work, yet people are still always surprised.
Pareto is 80-20, not 70-1. Modern capitalism is way beyond Pareto.
Pareto distributions can fit a large range of values depending on the alpha parameter. It's only with alpha equals 1.16 that it's 80-20 is.
Well, yeah, on the one hand you have less than 5-acre subsistence farmers in developing countries using mattocks and scythes, and on the other you have large-scale commercial farms running 300-horsepower tractors and harvesters with 30 feet wide heads. It takes a lot of the little guys to match a cash cropper in North America who farms 1,000-plus acres. Also should point out that control is not own, much of it isn't even controlled by large farmers, it's rented from non-farming landlords.
Most of the large tillage tractors can be well above 600 horsepower. A large farm in the West isn't someone who has 1K plus acres, it's 5K plus minimum. I work for a company that is leading the charge for strip tillage. This is helping keep residue on the surface while putting nutrients only where they are needed. This solves issues that full tillage farmers have and also the no tillage guys.
X2 on the land being farmed. Local guy farms just under 28,000 acres of corn and soybeans total. 36 to 48 row planter, 3 by 16 row corn heads, 45 feet draper heads for beans, demis running non-stop just to keep everything moving. It's amazing to watch it all in action, but it also means that a lot of little guys are pushed out of business.
I'm not sure why this should surprise or bother anyone. It takes a lot of 1-acre subsistence farms to equal one American mechanized farm in terms of land mass. Large farms are more efficient and sustainable, and can support things like farming equipment on the low profits sustained by farmers. If we want to return to an age where tiny farms rule the day, we can do that, but it's going to involve approximately 20 to 40% of the population working on farms and a quadrupling of food prices, plus more wilderness converted to farmland to make up for the large reduction in productivity per acre and probably a lot of starvation on the lower end of the income scale.
Except large farms are subsidized and they privatize profits and the general public pays for the environmental damage and poor health. Small farmers in India and elsewhere get more subsidies than Western farmers. Pretty much every country subsidizes agriculture.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.